Hi everybody, welcome back. My name is Charles, and this is my old house that we're fixing up to, well, fix up eventually, but right now we're kind of fixing it into a Halloween house. But we have some projects that we need to get done today. One very big project that has to get done today. So the short version is, a while back we threw some plywood over a massive gaping hole in the roof. That was basically to try to stem the flow, not stop it, obviously, but water pouring directly into a hole is bad. So we threw some plywood up over the holes just to try to cover the hole up, but it doesn't stop water from running down the roof and then under it and things like that. We didn't water seal it or weather seal it or anything like that. So there is still water ingress into the house happening. It was pouring last weekend when I attempted to do this, and it was literally raining in the house. But because of that, we can't very well put decorations up in the house if they're going to get destroyed with water. So this weekend, I have to get this roof patched up, not fixed, not repaired, but at least patched over with tar paper and rolled shingles, just to keep the water out of the areas that I'm going to be working in. And that's going to be a pain. So let's go inside real quick and we'll just kind of run through the plan a little bit more, and then I guess just tell you why I'm less happy about doing it today. All right, so we're inside the house now, and we're in the back room where there's still some light. Now, the reason that there's still light here and not in the other parts, you can see behind me, I've got some plastic over the doors. We're just trying to darken it up in here, mainly because I wanted to see what it was going to be like with the lights that I've got planned for Halloween, things like that. It's going to be dark at Halloween, so I kind of need to make sure that I've got enough light while it's dark outside. So I blocked a lot of windows and doors off to make sure that I could accomplish that. So anyway, I wanted to do this yesterday, I really did. And as it happens, yesterday was a beautiful day, not much of a breeze, sun came out, warm enough, and it was awesome. But I was also by myself, and I knew I was supposed to have help today. So I put it off to today because today was supposed to be kind of similar weather to yesterday, and I'm supposed to have help. So here we are over at the house. It's a lot breezier, it's cold, there's no sun, I don't have help. So all my plans for doing this have gotten completely thrown sideways, and now I'm going to be miserable all freaking day doing this. So anyway, let's give the background real quick. Let me turn the camera around to show you the floor, because I guess. So here's our plan. Tar paper, rolled roofing. This is basically just big rolled shingles. I have 4 of them. Couldn't remember if I bought 4 or 5. I don't know how much paper I have. I don't know if that's actually going to be enough to cover everything that I want to cover. But that said, before we start this project, let's go out, climb the ladder, and I'll show you what we're doing on the roof and why I should have done this a long time ago. Holy crap. You can hear that? That's this. See that tree right there? It's kind of grown around the flashing here, and it just, oh man, hearing it. That's project 2 today, is to cut that off right there, so that way it's no longer making noise. But yeah, that's annoying. Anyway, back to me. So I'll turn the camera around again in a minute and you can see what we're doing. Now you can see I'm on the ladder. It's not that far down. We're only 25 feet up. So yep, fun. Anyway, so if you look behind me, you can see the plywood. You can see it's kind of warping and things in places. Some of it doesn't have as much support as other places, like right there. So if I had put some sort of covering over this plywood back then we would have a lot less issue when it comes to warping and things like that. So you can see up there, we've got a lot of warpage happening. Same thing over here. So you can see over there at the edge, that's kind of like where the edge of the bad part of the roof was. But obviously there's going to be water that seeps into that seam, a lot of water that's going to go into that little hole up there. Sure, water that's going to hit the plywood will, you know, cascade down. That probably lets water over, but up there doesn't. And then we have that hole. So that's also not good. We need to paper all of this and then come back over with our rolled shingles. A couple things that I need to do. One, I need to go grab a tape measure and measure just how long this is. Now the problem with those rolled shingles is they're very heavy. So the plan right now, that's scary as shit. The plan right now is to measure how much we're gonna need, get some tar paper, cut the tar paper to length, put a row down that's actually down over top of this flashing, because some of this stuff is bent. Let's see right here. So you can see right here, it's actually bent in from where it's broken down. The roof had broken and it folded this over. So instead of it being nice and kind of level that way, this is flat. So water that hits that is just gonna pull back that way. So we're gonna get the paper down halfway over this, so anything that hits paper will eventually get to a slope and fall off. So that's plan number one, is to measure out enough tar paper to do that. Plan number two, get said tar paper up here and try to figure out how, by myself, I am going to staple that tar paper to 9 layers of old shingles that probably will not hold. I do have some roofing nails as well, so you know, the tar paper will stick to the plywood with the staples, but it's just the shingle side that it might not. So we may end up getting creative with that. The other thing I need to do over that hole is I've got a furring strip that I'm going to screw on the roof from top to bottom, like that. I really suck at this angling with my finger in the camera as a reverse image. So I'm just gonna put a furring strip down the middle of that. It's like a 1x2 that I bought. I'm just gonna put that over that hole so that way I have something to staple the tar paper onto over that hole. I don't want it to have any weight to it where it can pool water in that cavity. Now my plan with 2 people was I was gonna be on the ladder on this end down by the hole, and I was going to plunk Jordan up here in the tree. Basically, there are branches that I left on this tree. The tree's not dead, obviously. And I left enough branches to use as footholds and steps to actually climb the tree out of that window. So the window that's down there on that bay window, the window above it rather, you can come out that window onto the roof and then climb this tree up onto the roof. It's awesome. Third part of the project, after all this stuff is done, again, we have to cut that tree, that's number 2, and then this tree, we're gonna cut some of these overhanging limbs, like these that go up here. We're gonna cut them out of the way too. This whole tree is gonna go away eventually, and I know people are gonna freak out, Arbor Day, yada yada, but for now, well, those branches are just dumping more water onto the roof. They're picking up water out of the rain and then just dripping it into the ceiling. Eventually, if they do break and fall, if I didn't get the tree down, they're just gonna fall onto the roof anyway, so we're gonna get a lot of this cover over and off of the roof. So that's, Jesus Christ. So first things first, roof. Second thing, that annoying goddamn tree. Dude, every time it makes a noise, I think I'm falling off this ladder. I know what it is, I know it's making the noise, and it still gets me. And then number 3 is just trimming this tree back. Unfortunately, like I said, I am by myself, so that might be a little tricky. Let's go get my tape measure, I'll measure this, and then we'll be back inside. All right, so it's about 23 feet from end to end with enough of an overlap to take up the difference. So now I have to unroll some tar paper, count out 23 feet of it, cut it off with a knife I can't seem to find, and then try to get it back up there. Again, I can get the first row. I think it's going to be okay. The hardest part of doing all of this is moving the ladder. I don't remember what size it is, but it's a pretty long extension ladder, like 40 feet or something. But by myself, I basically have to pull it back, stand it straight up, kind of like hold my feet under it and just shuffle sideways. Very slow, very tedious problem, but I don't want to try to lose the top of it and have it crash forward or backwards, or worse, side to side, getting off balance. So that's kind of how I have to move it. But I'm going to do my best. I think what I'm going to do is when I put the tar paper on, I'll get it lined up in the middle, start from the center, work my way out, and then once I get to the one side, I'm going to cut that stupid tree off. So once I've got the tar paper on the first row, I'm going to take a couple of these old 2x4s and I'm going to lay them down on the base, on the bottom of where that tar paper is. I'm going to lag bolt them down into the beams. I've got some 6-inch timber locks still around here somewhere, I think. So I'm going to lag those down so that way it gives me a handhold and foothold, really. So when it comes time to do the next couple rows, I have something I can step onto the roof and have my feet planted on. I mean, it's a 612 pitch. It's a little uncomfortable to walk on. It's doable, but when you have a sketchy roof to start with, then it gets a little iffy. So, yep, got to find a knife, and then we'll cut out my tar paper. Then we'll try to tackle the first layer. That tree, man. Anyway, I'm gonna turn the camera around this way. So you can see I've got the first row starting to be laid out. We're just in the process of sliding it that way. Then I'll tack it on here once I slide it down. And then we'll go to that end. Normally I'd have that furring strip on that hole already, but this is going to come down like another foot, so there's going to be plenty of room. And those I might actually be able to do from inside the attic. I will go inside, cart my ladder upstairs, and see if I can just step out and do it that way. I definitely don't have enough tar paper to do all. I think I figured on doing 4 rows, hence the 4 bundles of roofing shingle paper stuff. I definitely don't have enough of this. I thought I had a full roll. And even then, I don't think that would have done 4 whole rows anyway. But we're going to do what we can with what we got. And the shingles will be the rest. Nothing is going to be as bad as it is now. So, well, nothing would be as bad as it is now. Doing something is better than the nothing that currently has that's not. So I'm going to put foam back down because I need 2 hands to shift this. So we're going to shift this one down. Get this end over that way, get everything all laid out. I brought a rake with me so I could reach to the other end without having to move the ladder first. And then we're gonna get this tacked into place. And then first line of work is now good. My stomach's growling. Apparently I didn't eat breakfast. Oops. And then once this is down and stapled into place, again, I'm gonna go grab a 2x4 and we're gonna just set this on here and just drill that sucker straight down into whatever it can grab. And that'll give me something that I can step off this ladder onto and hold me from falling to my death. Yeah, so anyway, back in film. I forgot that this branch was here. I come rocking up this ladder all raring to go and bashed my head right off it, so that was fun. So anyway, now we're back up on top of the roof section. So you can see on that end, we've got paper down. I've got a 2x4 down for now. I've got another 2x4 here to put over here. But we had these blocks nailed in over here that we had in place for basically footholds. So they need to go away. There's one there. There's one over here in the corner. There's one up there, but I can get to that later. And then there's one actually under this. So I have to roll this back, take that one out, roll this down flat. I was originally just gonna just roll it over it and say screw it, but since I've got a hammer up here and I can get readily access to it, there's really no reason to leave stuff like this. So I've already done enough of that on this project already. So we're gonna stop just doing whatever and we're going to at least do a little bit better of it. So I'm going to put that off. I'm going to roll this out, see if I can reach my staple gun way over yonder. I'm thinking maybe I can use my 2x4 to bring my rake this way, then use the rake to grab the, it's a thing. Anyway, so we're making progress, going very slow. You can see I got my tree down though. That thing was pissing me off something awful. So when I was up doing that end and stapling that end down, I basically grabbed the Sawzall and just did away with it. It's down there in the ground now, way down there. Anyway, back at this. So once we get this roll done, I'm gonna go ahead, jump inside with my ladder with a piece of furring strip, screw it from each end, top and bottom over that hole, so I've got something for the paper to rest on for the next roll. Because the next row of paper is going to start at that end and then come this way. Now there's going to be a massive hump right up there. You can see where that massive warpage has happened. Partly due to the roof, but mostly due to the plywood being wet. So there's going to be like a big gap there, but I don't know how well I'm going to be able to do that. Like that's going to be a really big issue there. So we'll tackle that when I get to it. Let me get this part done. For as cold as it is out, I mean, it's probably like low 50s. Having a hat on because my hair is crazy. Having my coat on because it's cold enough for a coat, but I'm sweating underneath it. Maybe I should have wore a different coat, but anyway, back at it. I'll be back with an update in a minute. Quick update, taking a break. That's my update. So just went up on the inside of the attic, took a furring strip, screwed it on the outside of that hole that's up there. Forgot that standing in the hole and putting a furring strip down the middle of the hole effectively cuts the hole in half. So that kind of was a contortionist act trying to get out of there. I did also notice that there was that one spot where there's that really big dip in the plywood. That's basically because the beam that's under it is just gone. It crushed down, so there's no support underneath it. I did finally, somebody must be having a wedding or something. There's a bunch of ladies getting their hair done next door, so congrats to whoever. And anyway, Jordan is supposed to be coming over to give me a hand. He just woke up, so having an extra set of hands is always good. One at each end, just unroll everything. Plus, having boards we can stand on up there makes it easy. Easier, I should say. And then basically, if we can get one person up there to grab the rolls of shingles and then, you know, roll them out between one end and the other with two people, it should be better. I don't know what time it is. I think it's like 2. I've been here since like noon. It feels like I'm not getting anything done. It's just taking forever. I just want to get this done because I don't know how many dry days I'm going to have left. So, yeah, it's windy, which also isn't helping. Yay, because why would it be? And anyway, time to get back at it before it gets any worse, I guess. On the plus side, it is dropping all the leaves on the ground, so now that's more to rake up. Anyway, we'll be back once I get to the next phase of whatever it is I'm doing up there done. I think the next step is actually the next roll of paper, but I'm going to measure to see how much I have. I may wait until he gets here, and then we'll see if we can't jack that rafter back up into place and put a 2x4 under. I did bring my saw, so I didn't bring any heavy nails, but I might have a couple laying around, or I can pull some from somewhere. I just need to get something under it, wedged underneath it to put that back up in place. It really just needs to support the plywood, really, because it's the only spot there's a gap. Not that a 4-foot span won't be supported anyway, but in the meantime, it would be good to at least have something under it. Anyway, I found one working bottle jack, so we might use that to press that piece up at least high enough, and that should bring the plywood back into square, or at least closer to it. We won't have quite such a gap trying to cover with the paper, and then I think that's what we'll do first. So anyway, he's probably another 20 minutes away. Maybe I'll go try to tackle that now before he gets here. I just took not a tumble, but I just kind of got off balance coming down the ladder out of the attic, and I forgot that there was nothing behind me but a bathtub, so that was almost scary. Anyway, I'm gonna go back and take a break, get a drink, and then I'll go formulate a plan for upstairs with getting that back into place, and then yeah, I guess we'll see how it goes. Okay, so mid-papering update. You can see I have second row on. We're getting the other side up. Our 2x4s are, well, so far they're sort of holding. Still feels weird and sketchy and not at all safe, but we're good. Anywho, I've got enough paper for one more, almost a full row above this, and then we're not gonna have another one for the top, which is kind of a bummer. Kind of ran out of staples, so I gotta go downstairs or down ladder and get staples. So yeah, but my hole's covered, except for this top that I can't staple. So anyway, we'll be back again. All right, pardon my out of breathness. It's been a day. You can see though, we are starting to get shingles down now. We still have to figure out what we're gonna do up there when we get to that mess, but I have some potential ideas when we get that far. But the important part is shingles are now being done, which means more waterproofness for the house, at least for now. So we're gonna finish up here, and then hopefully at the end I'll come back if my battery is not dead and just show you the final patch job, at least until summer, because I'm done climbing this ladder. I'm hitting me, or we're gonna have words after this. I want a divorce. As you can see behind us, or well, sort of, I guess you can sort of see, we are on our last row of shingles. They are in effect done. We're putting the last top of the row up. Obviously I don't have any tar to cover any of the nails up or anything, but in the big picture, this is massively improved over what we had. I can't measure for shit, so I have extra down there that I need to do something with at some point. If I was smart, I would just go get my knife now and do that. We'll see if I become smart in the next 5 minutes. But basically we're going to tack down the rest of the top of this. It's not going to be 1,000,000% perfect, but it's going to be a lot better than what it was. These are 4 full length rows, so there's no seams up and down in them. So real test won't be till it rains, but in the meantime, I'm calling this project done. We got this done. The other tree is now gone. I'm probably not going to get around to cutting these other branches off because I'm just dead tired. I have one more trip down this ladder in these legs, and then after that, I need food, rest, and probably something more. Anyway, that'll do it for this one. So thanks for watching along and all that fun stuff. I'm out of breath, I'm hot, I'm cold, I don't know what I am. I'm just tired, I just know that much. So we'll see how this holds up the next time it rains, and I will report back after that. For now, catch you later.